Well, unang-una, no, there's still a very gray zone or area where the cannabis is indicated for medical use, no. Especially sa setup natin na it's difficult to monitor, and at the same time, hindi natin anong tawag niyan, mapulis yan pag na-approve na yan, kasi pwedeng gagamitin din yan sa mga non-medical use or other purposes, no? Because ang entry point yan, pag in-approve mo na yan, then the market will be flooded with the use of this. And alam mo naman, ang dami nating mga problema ngayon, yung vaping, no? Yung mga ganitong klaseng addictive mga substances. And we're adding another layer, another risk to our population, especially the younger generation, no? Because we still consider this, Joel, as a hazardous and addictive substance, no? So sana siguro, kung if this will be approved, dapat konkreto yung paano ba ito gamitin, sino ba dapat ang gagamit nito, and it should be strictly implemented siguro at the level ng mga hospital or institution na merong kapabilidad na mag-monitor sa mga pasyente. Well, nakasulat kasi dito na meron din ganong mga provisions, no? Pero sa tingin namin, ang overall kasi namin, we still don't approve the use of cannabis as a medical indication because of certain indications na kulang pa tayo sa mga ebidensya kung ano ba talaga ang benefit nitong cannabis use in a specific medical condition. Well, that's only one segment, and in fact, kung titingnan mo lang yung ganong aspeto ng in terms of indication, no? In fact, in that particular indication, hindi pa rin ganong ka-strong ang evidence that it is very useful, no? Yung benefit, no? Ang pinaka-overall talaga namin dito is that this is still considered addictive. Even if you say that the pharma grade is this, how can you say that pharma grade, abusuhin ang quantity, abusuhin ang access, abusuhin ang mga gumagamit? So which means that there's still that gray area na mayroon pa rin risk. Yes, kasi by nature, itong gamot na to, itong substance na to, it has an addictive property. No? So yun ang inaanuhan namin. Natatakot kami dito sa mga ganitong klaseng pag-i-approve mo yan as a medical use. Siguro, upuan uli, then we have to gather more evidence, invite more experts to really put on their thoughts on this, and importante sa amin, no? Yung constant communication with the medical community. No? It's important that we have to do that, no? Otherwise, it's so sayang ang magiging purpose. Yes, tama naman sa aspeto na yan, we don't disagree on that, no? Pero these countries have a very good way of monitoring, have a very good way of looking at who should be receiving this, no? And at the same time, maganda talaga yung the way they distribute it to these people. Kasi meron talagang follow up or something that they will really be given to the exact or the population that will benefit it, no? Yung tinatawag natin ng mga collateral effect ng drug doon to the population that may not need it, no? So may mga ibang they can access it. Paano kung halimbawa isang maka-access ka na tapos makita nung isang another family member o meron pala to, can I try this? So hindi natin alam magiging abuse ang paggamit ito at the level of the end user for those na hindi naman kailangan gagamit nito. Because there is always that risk, hindi natin matatanggal yan. This is the Philippine Medical Association at saka yung mga specialty division niya, pediatry, internist, and other social societies na under the PMA. Yes, additional mga meetings, tingnan natin. No? It's something that we have to really communicate, and importante dito yung pagkikipag-usap sa mga eksperto, sa mga medical. Kasi at the end of the line, that kami naman ang gagamit niyan, kami rin ang mag-i-implement niyan. Kami yung magre-reseta, but are we sure that there are those na hindi kailangan gagamit, hindi siya ma-abuse? Yun lang naman ang point natin. So we need to talk, we need to have several meetings on this.